Your book has got a lot of myths in, hasn't it? Fascinating stories, and I have heard you talk through some of them. Is there a favourite serpent myth of yours?
Yes. Well, my favourite myth is the Rainbow Serpent.
Okay.
The Australian Aboriginal story.
Oh, right, yep.
Is as old, if not older, than the Anunnaki.
Right, oh, okay.
Then it was transferred mouth to mouth through generations, as was the Anunnaki stories before they learned language. It's a fascinating story because the Rainbow Serpent is a creator goddess that woke from hibernation, crawled to the surface. As she made her way around the world, she would create ravines and valleys and push up mountains. And like an earthquake, if you like, she juggled the world about. And what I love about it is when she created the world, she woke up the frogs and tickled their bellies to make them laugh, making them spew out the water that they had in their stomachs to get them through the hibernation. They spewed out the water, which filled up the valleys with lakes and rivers. And when she was satisfied, with the lakes and rivers, nature grew. And when nature was fully established, it woke up the animal spirits. And they were free to run wild in the jungles and in the forests and everything. Meanwhile, this is the bit I found fascinating. Passing by were two brothers in a spacecraft. So this is from the Aboriginal theory. So you got Enki and Enlil again, associated with Enki and Enlil. And they become interested to see what's going on the planet. So they come down to Earth and they found this jelly-like substance in the shadow of a rock. They felt sorry for these beings because they couldn't communicate, they couldn't move, they're just jelly things. So they formed them into the shape of people, gave them a brain, gave them a heart, gave them organs, and made them into male and female so they could reproduce themselves. And all they needed was a spirit to animate them. By which time, Rainbow Serpent was having trouble with some of the animals who had become hunters or preys, or their prey. They started fighting amongst themselves, and she had to do something about it. So she promised she had to make laws to keep the peace, and those that would obey the laws, she would give them one of these human bodies to possess so they could interact physically with the world. And the spirits that didn't obey, she would turn into the mountains. So in a sense, she would turn them to stone, as in Therese said earlier on, like Medusa, turn them to stone. So I didn't see that connection before, but I think, and so it makes a lot of sense. People's got spirit guides, people are attached to a certain kind of animal. Why? Again, going back to the Anunnaki, Enki represented the serpent, his brother represented the bull, and their children represented the lion, which became the kings and queens, or the ancestors, descendants became the kings and queens of royalty, the monarchy, and the bird of Nergal. No, the crown was Ninurta, who's a god of Saturn, and Nergal was the bird which represented his descendants become religion. And it's, where did all these why did the animals come first? It's their bloodline, the serpent bloodline, bull bloodline. And hearing the Rainbow Serpent story, it makes sense, because the serpents that are good were given human bodies, as was the kangaroos, if you like. They're given human bodies, but they stuck together in their tribes. You had the serpent tribe here, kangaroo tribe here, and they all lived peacefully. And this is what the dreamtime, the Aboriginal dreamtime, was all about. And I've read a book by Chatwin, I can't remember his first name, to understand what it's all about, but I couldn't really get it. But through this story, it made a lot of sense. And during dreamtime, the world was still in flux, it's still evolving. And the rock python decided they wanted to live away, not too far away from the protection of the other tribes, but far enough away that they didn't get visitors just showing up. And they lived in this lovely location in the middle of Australia for generations, until one day they was attacked by the carpet serpents. And an almighty fight broke out, which shuddered the world. And they're chasing around each other in circles. And at the end of the battle, the Uluru Rock was formed. When that was formed, it meant the end of the dreamtime. So for those that were in human bodies, remained in human bodies, but with their animal spirit as who they were. So it just explains to me why we've got animal guides, or where. I went to years ago. Went to a workshop on animal guides, and I've always seen me say, I'm a little dormouse, because I felt that's how I felt, a little dormouse, keeping out of everyone's way and everything. He said, your animal guide's standing behind you, big black bear. And that makes sense, I'm cuddly teddy bear most of the time, but you get me angry, I'm a grizzly bear and I'll protect anything. And I think, that makes sense. And last year I was at Stonehenge with the Cotswold Order of Druid. And this woman came up to me, she said, have you got any connection to the panther, Black Panther? I said, well, no. She said, there's one, while I was there, I had this Black Panther she saw moving about in between my legs and circling around me. So again, I can associate with a Black Panther. And so,
brilliant.
So I probably haven't explained it very well, but it's
that's a fascinating story. All of it's fascinating.
Connects a lot of understanding